I love my mini PC. It does basically everything I need. Computer stuff, Steam games, other things we won't talk about. Everything except retro games. Which is unacceptable. Retro games are the most important thing in life, and I've squandered my PC's potential. Squandered, I tell you! And I'm tired of squandering the wrong way. So I'm gonna squander this thing into an emulation beast. Let's do this thing. Alright, I think I'm ready. Retro game mode activated. I mean, campfire mode. This is campfire mode. Exactly the way I wanted it to do. Hey there, how's it going? I'm TechDweeb, welcome. Thanks for clicking on the video 2 days ago. That was a fun video. Go watch that if you missed it. Also, thanks for clicking on the video today. This one should be fun too, but probably. Because when I say mini PC, what comes to mind? You're probably picturing a little boring gray box that pretends to be a computer but really is just a spreadsheet machine that can barely watch YouTube. And if that's the case, then wow, you've been hurt by some terrible mini PCs. I'm so sorry to hear that. Because I freaking love mini PCs. I've reviewed like 1 billion of them. I have one here in my cozy retro corner where I write and work and play games. When I'm not editing videos, this is actually the computer I use most often, if you can believe that. But somehow, I've never made a video about using a mini PC for retro games, which is nuts because mini PCs feel made for this. They're tiny little computer boxes that already kind of feel like consoles. Giving them retro gaming superpowers just makes sense. And there are lots of ways to do it. You can go for Batocera as a standalone retro system, or Bazite with RetroDeck or EmuDeck, or just standalone emulators, install emulators and play games that way. That's fine. Lots of options out there for people who enjoy doing things the wrong way. But today we're going to do this the right way, by which I mean the way that I did it. RetroBat on your Windows PC. And I think this is the best because it's the best of both worlds. Proper retro gaming console feeling setup without sacrificing Windows. Your mini PC is still a normal computer that does normal computer things, and it's a retro gaming machine. You can even do both at the same time. Retro games and YouTube? Whoa, buddy, calm down. Save some computing for the rest of us. Am I right? This video is about getting a RetroBat setup going on your mini PC, or non-mini big boy PC, or whatever PC you got's going. The idea is simple. Your computer is still a normal computer that does boring computer things, but then, like magic, with the push of a button, boom, retro console mode. And you can even have RetroBat launch automatically on boot, so as far as anyone knows, this thing is a retro console. Boring old Windows is still lurking underneath. It's there if we need it, but we don't have to look at it when we have our games front and center. RetroBat is basically Batocera for Windows. It's an entire retro gaming ecosystem in one self-contained package. Install it, add your games, and it handles almost everything else. It downloads and configures the emulators for you. It's got shaders and overlays built in, downloadable themes, game art scraping, tons of customization, and most importantly, it's all stupidly easy to set up. And the whole thing only takes a few minutes, which is nice because nobody's ever said, boy, I wish setting up RetroArch took longer. And if anyone did say that, I hope someone immediately punched them in the face. Before we get into the setup, let me give you a quick tour of my mini PC setup and what I have plugged into the holes to actually play my retro games. This here is my cozy retro gaming corner that I told you about in this video. I have my mini PC, my 4x3 retro style CRT monitor that I show you how I made in this video. I have my Commodore 1702 monitor, which I show you how to connect to a mini PC in this video. And I have my keyboard and mouse and controllers and my retro junk, all of which I've reviewed and have videos about. And most importantly, I got my Ninja Turtles, just in case Krang shows up and causes some trouble. My current main and favorite mini PC is this adorable little guy, the Ace Magic Retro X3. I've reviewed like 20 mini PCs over the years, and so far, this one's my favorite. And that's just because it's a great value and it's powerful enough to play actual PC games if you're into that sort of thing. It's great for Windows, it's super snappy, it boots in like 10 seconds, and the fan is one of the quietest I've heard on a mini PC. But most importantly, look at it. It looks like a dusty old answering machine from 1993. It fits my retro corner perfectly. I loved this thing when I reviewed it, and somehow I love it even more now after living with it for like a month or whatever. Like, putting green screen fire on it for the intro genuinely hurt me. But you can use any Windows mini PC for this. Or any PC really. RetroBat doesn't care. And most retro games will run on a potato, so even a cheap mini PC can make an excellent retro box. I'll link to this one and a few other good options that I found for you in the thingy below. And everything I'm showing you today, including the accessories and stuff, it's all available on Amazon. So you can do like me and abuse the return policy just to try stuff out and see if you like it. Although if you're like me, you're gonna want to keep it because once you start using it, you do like it. For controllers, I've got two favorites, and I actually use both of these probably equally. First is the 8BitDo SN30 Pro. It's basically an SNES controller with a Game Boy DMG paint job, which obviously earns its special dweeb points. It's Bluetooth, feels great, plays great, and it gives you the Super Nintendo nostalgia with modern stuff like analog sticks and triggers. Option 2 is the GameSir Tegonaria Lite. I love how this white one looks. It's probably one of my favorite looking controllers ever. Although the gray one also has a mighty spiffy PS1 vibe too. This one is wired, which I actually like for a retro console setup. It feels appropriately old school. There's no batteries to worry about or Bluetooth stuff. And best of all, it's like 20 bucks. For that price, this thing is bonkers. For mouse and keyboard, I use the 8BitDo Retro keyboard and Retro mouse. I love this keyboard. It looks super retro, works beautifully, the battery lasts forever, and the keys have a glorious clickety-clackety feel. And the mouse too. It's a mouse that matches the keyboard, so obviously it goes good here. You can also get a matching standalone keypad, which is useful for retro PC games if you play those kind of things. But the part that makes it perfect for this kind of setup is these programmable A and B buttons, because you can set one of these to launch RetroBat with the push of a button. So like, click.
Retro mode activated, kind of thing.
With the hardware out of the way, let's install RetroBat. And this is going to blow your mind with how easy it is. So tell your mind to brace to be blown. Head over to retrobat.org, hit download, and grab the installer using the link there. Run the exe and go through the installer. You can install it wherever you want, including on a USB drive. So if you want a portable RetroBat setup that you can move between computers, just install it to the USB drive. And then every computer you meet can become a retro console, whether it likes it or not. When the install is finished, fire up RetroBat. You'll get a startup animation and then the front end, complete with super loud music. Because apparently some people enjoy being blasted in the face by synthwave music when they go to play Kirby. I am not one of those people. With a controller, press Start for the menu. On a keyboard, the arrow keys move around and Z and X act as A and B, and Enter opens the menu. So on a fresh installation, I immediately head into sound and murder the front-end music. There we go. Blissful silence. And now we need some games. And like, seriously, don't ask me where to get retro games or BIOS files. I can't tell you that, okay? However, I do have a very helpful website that can lead you down the right track. I believe in you. A little bit. Inside your RetroBat folder, there is a ROMs folder with separate folders for each system. NES games go in NES, GBA games go in GBA. You get it. I've got my ROM collection here, so I'll just drag over the systems and the games that I want. BIOS files work the same way. I somehow came into possession of a RetroArch BIOS pack, so that goes into the BIOS folder. A lot of systems don't need BIOS files at all, so don't overthink it. If you fire up a game and it complains or it doesn't work, then just check out the excellent RetroBat wiki, and that'll tell you what BIOS files or whatever else that system needs. I can't cover it all here, but it's all there in the wiki. And that's basically it. Launch a game and play your game. That's what we're here for, so go ahead and do a whole bunch of that now. As you can see, RetroBat automatically applies some nice bezel artwork to fill the screen, and everything is already configured. Your controller is going to work, or your keyboard if you play on a keyboard like this weirdo. You got hotkeys to save and load your state, fast forward, opening the RetroArch menu, and start and select exits the game. If you want games to automatically save and resume where you left off, you can enable that in the game settings of the menu. For older systems, RetroBat mostly uses RetroArch, which it comes with RetroArch and all the cores all set up for you, but some newer systems need standalone emulators. However, RetroBat can download those for you too. It's almost confusing how easy this is, how little suffering is involved. I'm not used to this level of hand-holding, but I'm not complaining. The less time that I spend setting up emulation, the more time I have to subscribe to myself on YouTube. And if all you wanted was a nice front end where you pick a game and play it, then congratulations, you're done. Now get out of here and go play some video games. But if you wanted to make this thing more unnecessarily awesome, then stick around, because leaving well enough alone is for people with healthy hobbies. First things first mostly, let's customize the theme. Go to Updates and Downloads and then Themes. And there's tons in here that you can look through and install right from RetroBat. I'm just gonna grab some random one here. TechDweeb. Never heard of him. Theme looks good though. Let's install that and then head into the user interface settings to apply it. Most themes have their own options too, so you can tweak the colors and layouts and generally waste way too much time making your game menu look all pretty, as nature intended. Speaking of pretty, how's your mom doing? No, I'm just kidding. I know she's doing good. Also, speaking of pretty, these boring text lists for your games have got to go. RetroBat has a built-in scraper that can automatically grab artwork and metadata for your games. The Games DB is the free scraper option, and that's it's okay, but it's not great. I recommend making a screen scraper account. That's the good stuff. The free account has a daily limit, but it's probably plenty for smaller collections. But if you've got 97,000 games because you're a lunatic, or me, you can scrape them over a few days or support them on Patreon for higher limits. That's what I do. I'm a proud screen scraper. So just add your login info and choose what options and artwork you want. I usually disable the videos and manuals because they take up more space, and set my region to USA so I get the right versions of the artwork from my games. And then click scrape. It'll do its thing. If you have a few games, it'll be really quick, and if you don't, it won't. When it's done, refresh your game lists and ooh, look at all them pretty games. That's what I like to see. Oh yeah. We can also change how the actual games look, like when you're playing the games, how it looks on the game. There are global settings in the game options, so you can set some stuff there if you want to have all the games have that option. Like if you don't like the bezels, you could turn it off globally. But I recommend leaving this stuff alone and instead open a system and press select on your controller or backspace on the keyboard and then go to advanced system options. That lets you customize each system's options separately. For example, on the good old NES, maybe I'll enable the CRT New Pixie shader to give it that chunky old television look. But for something like GBA, I might turn shaders off completely and bask in those glorious naked pixels. You can change other stuff in here too, like custom bezels per system, or upscale 3D systems like PlayStation, or enable widescreen hacks in systems like Dolphin, and a whole pile of other stuff. There is way too much here for this video, but if you want an advanced RetroBat guide where we descend into the forbidden RetroBat depths together, then let me know and I'll make it. Maybe. One last thing. This is one of my favorite parts of using RetroBat on a normal Windows PC. You can make a button combo that instantly launches it. That's why I love these A and B buttons on the 8-bit keyboard. My A button launches RetroBat and B launches Dweeb DOS, which is a whole other rabbit hole that you can learn about in this video. But you don't need a fancy keyboard. Any keyboard can use a shortcut to launch apps. Just make a shortcut to RetroBat by holding Alt while dragging the icon somewhere, and then click shortcut key and press whatever keyboard combination you want. I like to use Control plus Alt plus Shift plus F11 because it kind of makes me feel like I'm launching a nuclear missile. Now, anytime I'm doing boring computer stuff and I want to feel less bored and play some retro games, hotkey, boom, retro console. Retro games, happy dweeb. And if you want your mini PC to behave mostly like a dedicated retro console without losing the flexibility of Windows, you can have RetroBat launch automatically with Windows on boot. To do that, just press Windows and R and then type shell:startup and drop your RetroBat shortcut into that folder. Now when the PC boots, RetroBat boots with it. You basically got a dedicated retro console, except Windows is still hiding underneath. So whenever you need a walkthrough, YouTube, music, browser, or to do your taxes real quick or whatever, Windows is still there, but where it belongs, underneath the video games. So yeah, a mini PC plus RetroBat. It is a match made in dweeby heaven. And this is exactly why I love mini PCs so much. They're just these weird little boxes of potential. They're cheap enough that I don't feel precious about them, small enough that I can stick one basically anywhere, powerful enough to do way more than their little answering machine shaped bodies suggest, and because they're just PCs, that there's almost always some new stupid thing I can make them do. And today, that stupid thing happens to be an entire retro gaming console. And RetroBat is perfect for this because it gives you that console-like experience without taking away the computer from underneath it. I don't have to dedicate this machine to just retro games. I don't have to wipe Windows or mess around with partitions or sacrifice a goat to the Linux gods. I don't even have to reboot to play them. It can still be my everyday computer. Retro gaming is just another superpower it has now. And you don't need some fancy new expensive mini PC either. If you got an old one sitting around doing nothing, this is a fantastic retirement plan for it. Think about that poor little guy, sitting in a drawer or on a shelf, cold, alone, remembering the spreadsheets of its youth. You can give it purpose again. Give it a controller, give it 97,000 video games, 94,850 of which you'll never play, and then spend 3 hours downloading themes and scraping artwork before eventually launching the exact same game of Super Mario Bros. 3 you've been playing since 1991. Because that is what retro gaming's all about. Am I right?